This episode is part of the transformational podcast Systems in Motion. If you want to learn more about the leverage points, please listen to the opening episode. Have you ever heard the Earth talk to the climate about politics in Germany? If your answer is no, you shouldn't miss Leonie's podcast now.
Welcome, I'm Leonie, and my contribution to the compendium will revolve around the election program of the Green Party in Germany for the election 2021 and their strategies in response to climate change, and it will be embedded in a conversation between the Earth, which will be spoken by me,
and the climate, which will be spoken by me, Anna.
So enjoy the show! So for a few years now, there are these humans inhabiting me. They are from time to time fun to watch, but are becoming more and more annoying.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I'm sure we'll get rid of them at some point. And if they go on messing with me, they might just take care of their own extinction.
Maybe they'll still get their act together, though?
Yeah, I guess the pandemic could be seen as a warning for them.
Oh, if you, like me, were tickled all the time by other viruses and bacteria that slowly wake up from your permafrost, you'd already changed something.
Yeah. But anyways, you wanted to talk to me about something.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nothing too exciting. I hope I didn't catch you away from anything important.
Well, I have to admit I'm kind of stressed and moody at the moment. It's not really usual for me around this time of year, and I'm afraid I'm kind of taking it out on the weather, but I'm already here, so tell me, maybe you can calm me down a little bit.
Oh man, poor weather. But so I was just zapping through the countries, some flooding in China, heat waves in the United States and Canada, more flooding in Germany, and there it came to me. After the same person has been chancellor there for a little while, the government might change now, since Germany's CO2 emissions of 9.2 tons per capita are about twice as high as the global average. A change, of course, would actually be nice.
That seems like it could almost be interesting to me. Go on.
It should be. There is also a Green Party running for office, and I've taken a look at their election program. It seems like they plan quite some change in the country.
But do you really think that could make the people in the country less burdensome to us?
I'm not sure. I mean, we know how hard it is to change, right, climate? For a while, Germany was a real pioneer in wind energy, but it lost that status a few years ago. The actual plan was to reduce CO2 emissions by 40% by 2020.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, that goal was missed. And actually, the issues are linked to so much more. The energy transition makes up a large part of Germany's climate politics, but at the same time, the conservative government held on to conventional sources of energy for reasons of social politics, and due to the convictions that conventional energy sources would be needed until the transition was safely done step by step. 90% of the German population approves of the energy transition. However, the deployment of infrastructure for renewable energies isn't very welcome in the local communities. Also, people fear for their jobs in certain sectors that would have to be restructured or closed down completely. So we see once more the change has to happen not only in sectors that directly emit CO2, but needs to be linked to a change in social patterns.
Earth, I know how much you love to talk, but I thought you wanted to tell me something about the election program.
Yes, of course, climate, patience. So far, what politics did wasn't very effective. My corals are dying, and your mood swings won't get better with the course followed so far. In Germany, the temperature has even risen by 1.5 degrees, which is above the global average. So let's turn to the election program. It contains, first of all, of course, some numbers, like the increase in taxes on CO2 emissions to 60 euros from 2023 on, and the decrease of greenhouse gas emissions by 70% by 2030 compared to the rate in 1990. Numbers and parameters are last on the list of leverage points, so on their own they probably won't change a lot. On the other hand, that aim to reduce emissions by 70% can also be seen as a goal, which, if taken seriously, should lead to a sustainable transformation. In the election program, the party also sets the goal of restructuring the economy so that the most sustainable products actually also become the cheapest.
If they really took these goals seriously and let their decisions be based on them, this abolition of the cost disadvantage of sustainable products, for example, could be a nice incentive for a more sustainable lifestyle. Do they have any more of these stronger leverages for an ecological transformation?
Yeah, the whole program is in a way filled with goals that are described more or less precisely. Another one on the list is, for example, zero waste, and one a little further formulated revolves around the expansion and the production of renewable energy. And at least they say that they'll put the Paris Agreement at the center of attention and align their actions accordingly. The project of a change in the economic and financial system might be a reaction to this goal. So growth is to be oriented on the planetary boundaries so that these are no longer exceeded. The plans for change in the economy also indicate one of the shifts in paradigm that the party is aiming for in the long run. Another point on their agenda contains the right to further training and qualification. It's, according to them, intended for unemployed, self-employed, or employed people to give them the opportunity to develop self-determined perspectives. That might not change attitudes completely, but through these information and knowledge flows, I believe the party can create a lever towards more sustainability at work or encourage people to turn to domains that focus more on sustainability.
And a little more knowledge and wisdom is never a bad idea.
And the Green Party is also planning for some rules. Like from 2030, no more cars with combustion engines are to be registered. And if we're already talking about cars, they also want to introduce the long-discussed speed limit on the highway. I could imagine some potential for transformation in these rules, since they to some extent hold a gun to the industry's head.
Yeah, actually, industry would be getting their bullet for the destruction it caused in our atmosphere. But so, would you say the program is promising in general?
Actually, opinions differ about the program of the party. There are definitely voices of criticism, for example, those of activists fighting for you and me. They say the program is not ambitious enough to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees and the goals should have gone further. Others say the program is full of empty promises or certain points are said to have been left out intentionally. Certainly, what they left out are clear bans of, for example, short-distance flights. They're really trying not to scare away any voters through too strict rules, but on the other hand, now many of their supporters are disappointed, so it's definitely a difficult situation.
But maybe it isn't such a bad idea to first of all get as many people in the boat as possible and then slowly change the image?
I guess we'll see how it goes, but to me it looks like they at least introduced some new standards in the election program of the parties. All pretty exciting, or not?
I'm not sure yet, because remember that one time a few years ago, I think it was around the 18th century, when they started industrializing everything? They were pretty excited about all the change too, and now you see where we ended up.
Well, I guess that could make people realize that they have to think well before they act and make choices, even though some changes are definitely also just hard to stop and the impact difficult to predict.